So guys, before you know whether your business is actually making profit, you need to know something very important: your break-even point. Break-even point is where your business has made enough money from sales to cover all its costs. At break-even, you're not making a loss, but you're also not making profit. You're simply covering your costs. Understanding this is important because making sales doesn't automatically mean you're making money. Let's say you open a small business and you spend around 30,000 on stock. This you also have other expenses like rent, transport, electricity, packaging, and marketing. If you sell products worth 40,000, you might look at it as if you're making 10,000 shillings, but that's not necessarily a profit. You need to consider other costs involved in making those sales. This is why you need to understand two types of costs: the fixed cost and the variable cost. Fixed costs are expenses that generally stay the same regardless of how much you sell. For example, if your shop rent is 10,000 shillings a month, you may still have to pay whether you've made a profit of 20,000 shillings or 100,000 shillings in sales. Variable costs change depending on how much you sell. A good example is your stock. The more products you sell, the more products you generally need to replace. Packaging and delivery costs can also increase as your sales increase. Now let's use a simple example. Imagine you sell a product for 1,000 shillings. The cost, it costs you around 600 to buy that product. That means you have 400 shillings left for each sale to contribute towards your other business expenses and eventually your profit. Let's say your fixed business expenses for the month is 20,000 shillings. You need to know how many products you have to sell to cover the 20,000 shillings. If you make 400 shillings for each product, after the product's direct cost, you might need to sell 50 products to cover the 20,000 shillings. That's your break-even point. At 50 products, you'll cover those fixed costs. If you sell fewer than 50, you haven't covered all these costs yet. If you sell more than 50, the additional contribution can start moving you into profit, assuming that other costs haven't changed. This is why your break-even point is so useful. It gives you your targets. Instead of simply saying, I want to sell more, you can say, I need to sell at least 50 units this month because I've covered all my fixed costs. Now you have something measurable. But there's something else you need to understand. At break-even point, your break-even point can change. If your rent increases, your break-even point can increase. If your supplier increases their price for the products, your break-even point can increase. If your selling products goes down, your break-even point also increases because you're making less from each sales. And if you reduce unnecessary expenses and improve your profit per product, you may be able to lower your break-even point. This is why business owners should regularly review their numbers. Don't calculate your break-even point once and forget about it. Your business changes, the cost changes, the prices changes, the suppliers changes, the sales change. So your calculation may need change too. Now let's talk about pricing. Knowing your break-even point can help you understand whether your selling price makes sense. Imagine you sell something for 500 shillings, but after paying for the product, packaging, delivery, and other direct costs, there's also nothing left. You might be making lots of sales, but still struggling to cover your fixed expenses. That's a warning sign. Sometimes the problem isn't that you need more customers. The problem may be that your prices and or costs needs to be reviewed. This is also why you shouldn't copy other business prices without understanding your own numbers. Two businesses can sell exactly the same products at different prices and still have completely different costs. One business might lower its rent, might have a lower rent. Another might buy stock in larger quantities. Another might have higher delivery costs. So don't simply look at what someone else is charging to copy them. Know your own cost. And remember, break even is not about your profit target. Your goal shouldn't be to work hard every month just to break even. Break even simply tells you the point where you're covering your costs. After that, you want to start generating a reasonable profit. You can therefore use your break-even point to set better sales targets. For example, if your break-even point is 50 units and you want to make a profit, you might set a target of 70 or 80 units. If your sales target has a reason to now your now your sales target has a reason behind it. You're not just picking a random number, you're working from business actual costs. And here's another important thing. Your break-even calculation doesn't have to be complicated. Start with the basics. Know your fixed costs, know how much each product costs, know your selling price. And now, how much you actually have left from each sale after the direct cost of that product. I'll take that again. And know how much you actually have left from each sale after the direct cost of that product. Once you understand these numbers, you can begin to understand how much you need to sell before your business starts generating profit. So, if you've never calculated your break-even point, make that one of your business tasks this week. Write down your fixed monthly costs. Look at the cost of your products. Look at your selling price. Then work out approximately how many products or how much revenue you need to generate before you've covered your costs. Don't run your business blindly. Know your numbers. Because sales can make you feel like your business is doing well, but the numbers will tell you a completely different story. They will tell you what is actually happening. And once you know your break-even point, you have much clearer picture of what your business needs to do to survive and what it needs to do to become profitable. Thank you for watching. I'm Kiki, where I mind your business. See you on the next lesson.